his son. No, the son is the real heir, but he is going to be the Prince Regent and run the country till the son comes of age. What has this got to do with democracy? Secondly, it's well known that he is one of the most corrupt politicians in the country. He grew very rich when Benazir was in power on the first two occasions and amassed enormous wealth. There are corruption charges for money laundering against him in a court in Geneva. And the picture I wish you'd shown is at his inauguration ceremony, the only other foreign leader he invited was Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan, and they both hugged each other, the twins against terror. But the people now, he's completely in hock, I think, to Cheney and Khalilzad, who put him in power, because they know what he is. They know what he is in terms of his corruption, and he's an obvious creature for them. The notion that he represents Pakistani democracy, if there were direct elections to the presidency, there's no way he would have won. His standing now is on 14%.
He and opposition leader Nawaz Sharif split over the freeing of the, or not returning the barristers and the judges to their positions. Why didn't Zardari support that? Because Zardari is hostile to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, because this is a very independent-minded Chief Justice, and because the West, which backs Zardari at the moment, is also hostile to that Chief Justice being put back into power. I mean, Amy, do you know what happened? That this Chief Justice, when a woman said... Iftikhar Chaudhry said when he was Chief Justice, a woman approached him, a poor woman, and she said, my son was disappeared. I don't know where he is. No one tells me. This Chief Justice of the Supreme Court summoned the head of the Federal Intelligence Agency before the court and said, where's this guy? The Federal Intelligence Agency chief said, we have no idea what you're talking about. And the Chief Justice said, either you produce this prisoner before me within 48 hours or you go to prison. Language like this has never been heard in the Pakistan Supreme Court or any other. Within 48 hours, the guy was produced. He said, what's the evidence against him? No evidence. It's just that the US and Britain had wanted him arrested. So he ordered his release. How did Zardari become president if he only had something like 14% support? Because elections to the presidency are indirect. It's the sitting parliament and the provincial assemblies which elect the president. His party had won those elections on the heels of Benazir's assassination, but the minute it became clear that Zardari was up to his old tricks, not restoring the judiciary, all the opinion polls showed a very rapid decline. Who would win if there were direct elections? Well, I think that if there were direct elections and Zardari were challenged by the Chief Justice, Iftikhar Chaudhry, there is no doubt in my mind that Iftikhar Chaudhry would sweep to power. Or Nawaz Sharif. You write, your book is called The Duel, Pakistan and the Flight Path of American Power. Why the duel? The duel is a long struggle which has been waged by the people of this country, nearly 200 million of them, against an corrupt political elite backed by the military and the United States now for nearly over 50 years. They've been struggling for basic sort of necessities of life, health, education, food to eat, and every time they've been frustrated, either by military coups backed by the United States or by corrupt political elites, of which Zardari is a prime example. This is the most callous, uncaring elite you have in Pakistan today. They don't care about the people. Human life is cheap. A figure I quote in this book, a UN statistic, that a majority of children born in Pakistan today are being born stunted because of malnutrition. Now, this for me is a horrific figure, and no government under the sun in that country has ever cared for the needs of the people or done much for them. And that is the duel which goes on. And the surprise is that more poor people don't turn to religious extremism. It would be comprehensible, but they don't do it. Where's Musharraf now? I think Musharraf is, you know, lives in the house provided, heavily guarded by the military. And my own feeling is that soon he'll start traveling abroad. His family lives in New York. He's got a brother, a very good guy, actually, a doctor in Chicago. But I think his you know, he has no future in Pakistani politics. Billions lost, U.S. billions in Pakistan under Musharraf. This will continue under Zardari. Where does that money go? Who is it shoring up?
Well, this is always, exactly how they launder this money is not known to me, but the money always disappears. And this has been the case with the money provided by the West to this elite for a long, long time. I don't think it'll be too different with Zardari.
You've also written extensively about Latin America. I want to ask you about the crisis in Bolivia right now, emergency summit in Chile, all of the Latin American leaders supporting Evo Morales. He expels the U.S. ambassador, Goldberg, from Bolivia, saying he is part of those who are trying to push him out.
Look, the situation in Bolivia, where I was last year, is very simple. You have an overwhelming majority of the population voting for Evo Morales, voting for his referendums, wanting a new constitution, and you have a tiny Creole, i.e. white, privileged elite who can't bear the thought that an Indian has got elected, a native of that country is elected president, and is trying to carry out his electoral promises. So they've tried to topple him. They're saying they won't listen. They've got mercenaries in from neighboring countries, and they do have the backing of the United States. So what Evo Morales has done is totally understandable. But what is also more interesting, Amy, that we were constantly being told by the upmarket press, The Economist, The New York Times, etc., that what you have in Latin America is a situation where we have moderates like Lula and Bachelet in Chile and hardliners like Chavez and Morales. Well, the United States has now united them all. Bachelet has attacked what is going on in Bolivia. Lula has attacked what is going on in Bolivia. So these extremist terror actions inside Bolivia have united virtually the whole of Latin America, with the exception, of course, of Colombia.
And the coup, could there be a coup that removes Morales?
Well, if there is a coup in Bolivia that removes Morales, you then have a situation of possible civil war, because the people will not tolerate their democratically elected president being removed by a coup.
We're going to leave it there, but I hope we have part 2 this week. The Duel, Pakistan on the Flight Path of American Power. That is Tariq Ali's latest book. Veteran journalist, commentator, author, born in Lahore, Pakistan, works out of London. That does it for today's broadcast. If you'd like a copy of today's show, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Shufa Bokadus, Aaron Mate, Angelique Comet, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Hani Masood, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, Peter Curry is our engineer. Special thanks also to Becca Staley, Hugh Grant, and Kiefer, Samantha Shumbley, Jay Selmuir. On Thursday, I'll be at Hofstra University speaking in the afternoon. In the evening, I'll also be out on Long Island in Manhasset. You can go to our website at democracynow.org for details. And the following weekend, I'll be in Baltimore. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us.